So I watched Mulan, a new release from Disney on Disney Plus, where I paid extra charge, and I watched it on the bullet train Shinkansen on my way back from the Kansai area to Tokyo, and I really enjoyed it. Mulan, as you know, really had a difficulty in its production and its release. In its production, there are many, preemptive criticism, so to speak, for not whitewashing the main characters. The Hollywood. It's the people are notoriously, you know, good at whitewashing Chinese characters, and but Mulan is too important a legend for Chinese people, I think, to be whitewashed because after all, it's about the defense of the nation, and I think in that sense, the theme resonates very well with the current zeitgeist of the Chinese people, I think, which I think is really interesting, and I will come back to it later. Anyway, the direction by Nikki Caro was superb. I think she was the right choice for the director. After all, this was, I hear, the largest budget film to be ever directed by a female, which is good because there are no you know male or female directors. They are just good directors, and Nikki Caro really did a superb job. I must imagine that the cinematography and shooting was really difficult because it involved a lot of people in a stunning scenery and involving a lot of really complex actions, but Nikki Caro did it really well. The title role, Mulan, was played by the Liu Yifei, and she was great. She was superb. I think she was really convincing in her portrayal of the main character. Her nuance of emotions that she expressed through her facial expressions and impressions, and also really great kung fu movements were really fun to watch and really convincing. She was a really real hero in this film. Now, screenplay. I think that was the difficult bit in this film because after we are living in the hashtag Me Too era, and I know from the original musical script, a lot of things should must be had to be changed for this cinema version of Mulan, especially as regards the relationship between Mulan and her superiors in the military. That is understandable, and I think the screenwriters did a good job in that. I know there are some criticisms about screenplay, but I think this is a really difficult material, screenplay. I think gender-wise, the writers did really well in striking a balance between male and female characters, the nuance of their respective roles in society, as would be realistic in the period that the story is set, and also as would convince us in the contemporary era. That was really, walking a thin line, and I think the screenwriters did really well. Probably the difficulty of the film came from the fact that the main theme of the film was about patriotism, to defend one's nation against, invaders, which is, the essence of the original Mulan legend. But put into this perspective, it's quite difficult to, lift it to cinematographic experience of the highest kind, because we know that confrontations between nations did exist in the history of humankind, but put in today's perspective, it doesn't really touch upon the profound nature of ourselves. Every film, whether it's 007 or any, usual suspects, when it comes to the depiction of international, conflicts and tensions, we always feel that, well, this is not really the highest value that we can achieve. To be patriotic, yeah, sure, that's good. To defend its nation, yeah, it's good. But it's not really the sublimely important human value. So in that, I think was the difficulty of Mulan as a subject for cinematography, and given within that constraint, I think the writers did actually well. The cinematography was superb. The visual images were often really creative, and although there would be always criticisms from these people who, talk about cultural appropriation, and was it the correct word? I'm still learning this word. The seizing of other cultures and using it for, purposes, and there would be always people complaining about these people things, but within that constraint, I think the staff did really well. This controversy, surrounding Miss Liu Yifei about her comment on the role of Chinese government in Hong Kong. I think this is a subtle question because as we know, China is in the process of rapid economical and cultural and social growth, and there is this awakening of the Chinese spirit, and I understand that Chinese people are proud of what they are achieving and what they will achieve in the coming years. So any criticism of the status quo, whether it is Chinese Communist Party or otherwise, would probably sound like infringing upon this surge of pride on the part of the Chinese people. So, Ms. Liu Yifei might have been acting just in, in a proud way, just like any American actor or actress would, say in such a situation when it is about the United States of America. So it is a really difficult issue. But having said that, I do think that this film, Mulan, is a really good-hearted statement on the gender of, or the role of gender in today's world, how we can understand male and female strengths and weakness, their relationships, and set in the context of China. I think it opens up many interesting possibilities for serious cinematic entertainment in the coming years. And although, as I said, the inherent difficulties about screenwriting, and I think within that constraint, I think the screenwriters did really well in this. So I think I really heartily recommend people to watch this on Disney Plus, although you have to pay extra. It would be great to see this a few months ahead compared to these people who do not pay extra. Because, this is a film that would define a period. This is a film that would bring about a new zeitgeist in which we might live for a long, long time. And so in the world of, cultural creation and in the field of appreciating cultural creation, I think it is really important to get there first, and if you can get there and see it by paying some extra dollars, why not? I think Mulan is a film worth doing that.